So I came across the #1 Dragoncraft deck, the guy who reached top of the Dragon rankings, and I have to say I was quite surprised when I saw the deck list. So I thought I'm going to give this a go and see how it gets on. Let's take a look at the deck. So the thing that really caught my attention, guys, about this version of Dragon, and we have seen various versions of Dragon doing pretty well this season, right, is the fact that there is no Odin. Zero Odin. Now, most of the meta Dragon decks that I've seen being played this season run 3 copies of Odin. So immediately I'm like, what's going on? Don't Dragon win via Storm? Isn't that the whole point? How the hell does this work? So I take a look at the deck and I go, okay, interesting. He's still got the Fortes in there. He's still got a single copy of Genesis Dragon. Obviously, he's got the Zoes, which can be used to as the 10 drops, which can give you Storm. And he's got 2 copies of Galmeo, which again at 7, enhanced 7, can give you Storm. But what's interesting is he is actually running 2 copies of Neptune. He's then got the Seasoned Merman package with the Call of the Megalorca, so he's got a little bit of healing along with Gilnalise. And it seems like this deck just sort of like can fight back a little bit better, right? It's not like an all-out Storm deck. And also the other problem with the Odin builds is that what do you do when you play Odin? Do you use Super Evo on the Odin? Because if you do, that means you're not using it on the 3 Gaius, right? That means you're not using it on the Forte. You're not using it on the Neptune. So it's kind of like this deck is a little bit Super Evo hungry. And then you've got to ask yourself, if you're going to play an Odin for 7 and only do 4 damage to face, is it actually worth it? And that's kind of like where I'm like, interesting. Plus, when we get to 7, we want to probably be using Wilnas now, or Neptune if we need to, against, like, say, a more aggro deck. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. So I really wanted to give this card, this deck a run. As I say, he did reach #1 of the ranking, so who am I to argue with his choices? He's got 3 copies of the Ferocious Flame, and I've seen people playing different options for the card draw. The thing about this deck is you have not got time to play draw cards, right? So the Granangita isn't here, you'll notice, in the 4-drop space, because the whole thing about this deck is you want to ramp, right? And then you need to pressure. And you just haven't got time for these like slower, take the foot off the accelerator to draw resources cards. And so something like Ferocious Flame is like a really good choice in that type of approach, because it's actually dealing with the board for only 1. It's helping you deal with the board, and it is giving you a little bit of resource. So in that sense, it's probably the premier draw card. Similarly with Lyria, right? Like, it's only 1 cost where we want to be playing Lyria, and it is drawing you potentially a Genesis Dragon or a Gaiu, right? Or a Wilnas, something like that. So it is, again, like acceptable for the 1 cost, right? So obviously he's got the Phylline and the Column Megalorcas in the 2-drop slots. In the 3-drop slots, you want to be looking for that Dragon Sign to ramp, but your Ocean Rider is your backup. That's your backup 3-drop. It gives you nice tempo following a Phylline, and so you can still build effectively. And what I love about this deck is in the mid part of the game, right, as in like turn 5, you've got double Seasoned Merman. I've seen a lot of people dropping this card, and I just think it's too important for getting the tempo back in the game. It's a great card for that. It is Dragon's kind of like Anangria answer, right? And Galmeo's like a slight version of that too on 5. And I also think that a couple of Galmeos is pretty good, because the 0 costs can actually make a difference in helping you later on in the game with kind of dealing with the board as well. So you've got some good stabilizing options. And of course, we run our 3 copies of Zooey. I've only got 2 regular copies and I've got 1 premium. That's why I've got the split there. But these are just, you want to be playing these on 5, guys. Let me clarify that, right? It doesn't mean you can't play it on 10, but that's like more of a last ditch scenario. It'll buy you 1 turn, and that 1 turn could get you a Genesis Dragon, for example. So I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it's not why they're in the deck. It's not like some sort of weird control deck where we're looking for that. It's absolutely looking to ramp the Zoe. So we want to be playing the ideal, if we can, of Dragon Sign on 3 into Zooey on 5, right? Now, obviously, you have the Louis Fangs, and it depends if you're going first or second when you play these, but you might get to Evo them for free. And very, very quickly, you'll be up to into kind of Gaiu range, right? We can play this thing down as soon as your Super Evos unlock. I do think that Wilnas is a super badass card. This card is fantastic. I think the Intimidate is really intimidating. Pardon the pun. And obviously, like, if you can bring this guy down, evolve as well, putting his stats up to 8, that Intimidate just gets even more intimidating, right? And difficult to deal with. Forte is Forte. I mean, what else needs saying about this? It's one of the best Storm units in the game. And again, with the Intimidate, it can just instant win you games on the trot. But other things you can do, obviously, now with what I like with Zoe's design is that you can play her on 10. She buys you a turn. Having obviously hit the opponent in the face, and that turn could be where you play a Forte down to then finish off, or something like Genesis Dragon. Gayu is absolutely the Super Evo target. We can definitely Super Evo a Neptune if we need to, but Gayu is the target for the Super Evos. This is just so difficult to get rid of for most opponents, so that's where we want to be investing our Super Evos into. And Genesis Dragon will just win your games because it's a big beefy unit that doesn't cost you an Evo in order to do a load of damage to the face. So really interesting deck. There is the QR code. Go ahead and steal it. Hit that like, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into some gameplay. Alrighty, so first of all, we are playing against Rune. Now, I was a little bit greedy with keeping Gayu. I do like Gayu against Rune. I think playing the Super Evo on curve is quite a problem for it, although obviously that was more of a spell boost thing, and actually Lilanthium can be an issue for Gayu, so probably incorrect to keep it in the opening hand, but I did see I had the Dragon Signer. I just got a bit greedy. Anyway, let's see how this one pans out. We've obviously got the Dragon Sign ramp going on pretty nicely here, and joining to Wilnas for 7 is just spot on. Now, is he actually going to present us with anything, though? I don't think he is, right? So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to use the Lui Fangs. I would have actually Lui Fang and Ocean Rider there, but as we drew the other Lui Fang, we may as well just go double Lui Fang and just say, yeah, we are now officially up to 10 play points as you enter your 5. Which is insane. Now, obviously, it doesn't make your Super Evos unlock any quicker, so there's no point playing Gayu yet anyway. Something to bear in mind. But the other, what do you call them? The overflow abilities, right? Ferocious Flame, that's now online, as is the Ocean Rider, as is the Column Mega Lorca. So let's go ahead and do that. I am actually going to use the Wilnas because I just want to get this body down. I'm even going to Evo it because I just want it to be a massive, literally massive problem for him to deal with. He can't play Norman here, right? Like, he can't play Norman into turn 6. So instead, he uses up all his dirt, and he uses the AoE, and he's playing Unleashed. Okay, so he did have an answer to it. Interesting. Here we're going to go Galmeo, and just get the Storm, use up an Evo point, and we'll sieve for another Dolphin. And next turn, hopefully he'll have a board because he's kind of got to do something against this, and that's where we'll play Gayu. Now, we are running light on resources, and remember, we are a deck that this is going to happen often. Because remember what we said, this is not the Modibus. This is not the Modibus deck. Go check that out on my channel, where you just have endless value, right? So you are going to have these like tense sort of endgame scenarios. But it's all about the pressure. Now, he has healed up pretty well. So I'm going to use the Ferocious Flame. This both draws and kills his 2/2, meaning that we can keep the shield or the barrier up on our Silver Dragon. So because of the 0 cost 1 damage that we get from Galame, we're actually able to then clear off with the Orcas. And we do find our second Gayu. So actually, the keeping of the Gayu, I think ultimately probably did pay off, because it did mean we were able to hit both Super Evos on a Gayu, which is kind of like ideal, I think, with this deck. The barrier protecting the Silver Dragon on the trade there, and he's got no Evos left. But what he can do is he can build a giant board, right? And so he does decline. So we kind of like play the spell, then trade, then play the other spell, and then play Gayu, and then the Mega Lorca, and we can clear at least the 10-6. And the idea there is that now we've got rid of the big barrier, I feel more comfortable with the... Wow, what does he go with here, though? He actually goes with another barrier. Nice. Because he knows, like, the heal wouldn't be enough to get around if we've got a Storm unit. So the barrier is definitely the right choice for him. We can't Super Evo to get the one ping by going over the top, but we find the Gilnalese anyway, and that's going to be all is required. GG.
Hey guys, just want to say a massive thank you to every one of you who has supported the channel so far. It makes a huge difference and I really appreciate it. I started this channel because I wanted to make the kind of things that I wanted to see as a gamer. So if you've got any suggestions, do let me know down below in the comments. And of course, if you haven't yet done so, then why not support the channel by hitting that thumbs up below or subscribing for future content. Let's get back to the video.
Alrighty, a bit of Abysscraft. We are going second. Okay, so it is the Mode Evo hybrid, which is the best deck right now. So we're going to Ocean Rider here. We haven't got the ramp in this game. Congregant of Entwining Evo. Okay, so we do find Li Fang to get a bit more ramp going. This enables us to make some somewhat favourable trades. We obviously at that stage of the game where we need to be drawing into stuff, and this is obviously where Lyria comes in hand. So we can play Lyria out safely, knowing we can still obviously get the Galmeo out anyway. And we just hit face, like we're not worried about the 3-2 at this stage. However, he has got his Gilnalese to heal back up into... it's going to be, what's it going to be, 18, is it? 17? 17, yeah. Gayu, Super Evo. Sort of always feels good, this deck, right, when you Super Evo in on the Gayu. And in many respects, like not having the Odin, I think, like, almost streamlines that more. And it means that because we're playing the Lyrias to draw, we know we're more consistently going to get the Gayus as well, whereas obviously Odins would weaken the pool for that. Okay, so using the the Cerberus defensively. And Ardent's, Fangs of the Ardent, like, really coming in there, right? Clearing out the bats. And if we're going to be seeing more bats in this meta, then obviously this Fangs of the Ardent gets even more meaningful, right? Also good at pinging off these barriers. Pinging off the Norman barriers. Setting up the Phylene board clear from the White Frost Whisperer. To be honest, with the final Super Evo, that is all we needed for the victory. Alrighty. So we've got Rune. So we played against Spell Boost. Is this going to be a dirt version? Let's see. We do have the Zooey, but we don't have the Dragon Sign in hand, but we've got the Ocean Rider 3-cost alternative. So as it stands, it's just kind of turn 4 that's looking a little bit awkward right now. And still the case. Ocean Rider helping us kind of clean up the board and push a little bit more damage. Oh, we find the Phylene, so that's better than nothing. Keep pushing the damage. Down comes a device. Gobbling up 2 of the dirt. So we are playing Dirt Rune here. We saw how we did against Spell Boost. Let's see how we get on. 100% Zooey for ramp. This is exactly where we want her. We use the Evo just to clear off the 4-2. Now he wants to play his Norman on curve, so the Philippa isn't enough to clear this. So we do get a nice, like, that Zooey, like, acted, that Evo really got the full value there in killing Norman and the trade. So we're going to actually go off with Super Evo Neptune this time to, not Super Evo, sorry, an Evo to clear that and just heal up. Super Evo unlocks next turn, and again you can see we've got the double Gayu in hand. So we won't be using Illyria this turn because we need the full 8 play points to go off with Gayu. Nice. And this is the thing, like, Leanthium is no joke. Like, she is a great way of dealing with a Gayu board, and that's something that Spell Boost Rune just don't have. So Gayu is much more threatening to them. However, he is now out of Super Evos, so I want to use Gayu back on him, because obviously the 8-8 clears his 8-8 body, and now he's down to 5-5s, and there's no way of him doing the banish again now because he's used both of his Super Evos up. So yeah, and again using that Ferocious Flame on the Super Evoed unit means we don't take any damage. We clear off his small follower. Ooh, nice Granagita there. The Granagita when it auto evos is just such a badass card. Right, now we can use the Lyria and dig. So can we put him on a clock here? No point using the second Ferocious Flame. Ice Magna. Heals. Oh my god. So we're gonna have to use the Zooey because now the Genesis Dragon isn't enough. So we're gonna play out the Zooey, and we're basically hoping now he has no blocker, right? This is why I don't think Zoe's a great, you know, it really is a desperate kind of last chance saloon. It's not It's not a great tactic, guys. Don't get it twisted. Because all he's got to do usually is heal or put a ward down, and you're kind of in trouble. So he didn't have the ward, so obviously we're able to drop the Genesis Dragon and win the game. GG. So that is the deck, guys. What do you think? No Odin. Can Dragon get away with it? Is that a good thing? Is that a positive move for the deck design? I think it's really interesting, especially given we're talking about the guy who got to rank 1, remember, of the Dragoncraft class rankings. So let me know down below in the comments what you think to this list. I certainly think that it felt really, really good. I'm definitely going to play a little bit more. And yeah, let me know how you get on in the comments. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like and subscribe and check out this video next. Thank you very much for all of your support.